Okay, we're going to call the meeting of the Board of Commissioners, July 2nd, 2025. If everybody please stand for the pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If everybody, I'm sorry, wouldn't mind keeping standing, we'd like to observe a moment of silence for Officer Mercutchen, a deputy that has been recently passed away. Okay, thank you. All right. First up on the agenda is Diane Cosart, assessment of bids. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I've been doing this. This part of the meeting will be open up for anybody who's not on the agenda that wants to say anything. You can bring it up, and we can't vote on it, but we can take it under advisement. Maybe talk about it later on another day. Does anybody have anything? Okay.
And before we move on, Randy, going off of Deputy McCutcheon's moment of silence, I would like to move or talk with the board, open up discussion. I believe what I was told yesterday from a member of the Sheriff's Department that services in Scott County, as of right now, tentatively will be July 14th, Monday. There will be a visitation, as of right now, the 13th down in Jeff. I don't know the location, but I will be more than happy to put that out. Trying to get a location for the 14th, but I would like to open a discussion with y'all to see about possibly closing the county that day to give everyone the opportunity to attend, since Deputy McCutcheon made an impact on everyone, or to delegate that to the department heads to see if they would want to allow their staff to attend, or to let the first responder staff to reach out to surrounding counties to get coverage for them while they attend the funeral services.
For me, and in the past, what we have always done was we allowed the directors of each department to set up a rotating visitation, so we don't have to shut down completely for the. And I just do that, 911, and all the police officers would kind of be in a back way. Everybody that.
Yeah, that's why I offer surrounding health, or if they want to reach out. But just want to put out there to see what y'all thought.
Yeah. I know the sheriff said he would handle his department as far as that goes. I mean, on our end, I agree with Randy. That's typically how we would do that.
Has a bereavement package been sent out?
Yeah, because we don't have the arrangements yet, but there will be.
Okay. So now, Diane.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
if you want to make a motion, sorry.
I can
this. If you want to make a motion to just approve, based on Adam's request, motion.
Oh, I thought that was already set up.
I think we just need to formalize it. We've done it in the past, but just make sure that it's okay.
For departments to have rotating.
Just allow the department heads to have the discretion to provide a rotating schedule that provides coverage and also allows people to, when they can, attend whatever services are planned.
I'll make a motion to allow department heads with that flexibility.
I'll make a second.
I'll make that unanimous.
Thank you all.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Are you sure?
Yeah, don't worry.
Go, Diane. You got it.
All right. No problem. Last month when I was in, we opened 2 bids for our cyclical reassessment. It was for a 4-year contract, and I am wanting to have you guys approved the one for Tyler Technologies, which is the higher of the two. Found some discrepancies in the specs that I had sent out for the other bid. The envelope wasn't addressed right, we asked that the person be local, and they will hire somebody and train somebody to work here, but the project supervisor is from Indianapolis. So it's not going to be the best for our county, I don't think, to have them do this when we have knowledgeable staff of Scott County here to do this. So I'm asking you, and Tyler has agreed to relook at their bid and drop it a little. They will drop it over the 4-year contract.
I think when I was talking to you, we decided that there could be some upcharges if we use the other company later.
I don't know, because we didn't get the
Kind of
contract.
open.
Tyler sent the contract with theirs. This one here's the bid, and there's some things that,
It's left open.
it's left open. They're going to use the tablets that say who's going to pay for the tablets or anything like that. So there's some questionable things in here that, I don't want to end up later on having more charges. Sounds great right now, but in the long run, will it stay that great?
Right.
And
So, just to understand, it's not set in stone, it's not black and white. There's a lot of open-ended questions for procedures or payments or possibilities.
one of them was, they're going to provide tablets. It doesn't say whether they provide tablets or whether, who provides the tablets that they use.
Or who's responsible for maintaining software updates or
That type,
security,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Stuff like that. And one of the things too is we asked for a surety bond, and they wanted to do a retake. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I think this bond is a little bit better than
This is a contract for what exactly?
the
Services?
services. They're going to do our reassessment services over the next 4 years.
So I would just say generally, services contracts are not subject to the same closed bidding requirements as other types of contracts for work or equipment. Specifically, Indiana Code 5-22-6 states that as to purchase of services, the purchasing agency of the governmental body may purchase services using any procedure the governmental body or the purchasing agency of the governmental body considers appropriate. There's no, there are specifics that are required in other types of purchasing methods. Sounds like what we've outlined is maybe some issues related to whether or not you would consider one of the submissions responsive to the specs that you put out.
Right.
Okay. That is usually, seems like we've adopted, we've chosen to do a closed RFP process. I don't think that we can renegotiate with either of these entities. I don't think that would be something that's permissible, but if you believe that it's not responsive and you want to outline the specific reasons and you guys want to rely on those reasons as a basis to potentially consider it a non-responsive bid, that's up to you.
Well, Diane, obviously, this is your office, you have, a good comfort level with Tyler Technologies, and some long relationships there, and especially the number of years you've been in that office. The assessment office is a very contentious place, I get it, and to go with an unknown could be very detrimental, not only for you, but for all of us, for the county as a whole. So I'll defer to.
And you specifically required them to submit a bond,
Mm-hmm.
and they did not do so.
Mm-hmm.
So that's right there, that's
Right.
non-responsive.
Very easy then, right?
Just saying that does not, if you've made that a criteria of the purchase, even under the competitive bidding statute, you've included it in the notice to bidders, they must meet the requirements evaluate whether or not they have met the criteria that we've laid out in our notice.
I piggyback off what Craig said, and you are the expert in the field, it's your office, and, as you said, you put out requirements. If they didn't fulfill that, then it's plain and simple. While I would love to go with the lowest bidder, as you said, there's a lot of open-ended, questions, who would pay for what, the bond, the iPads, or the equipment, who would be hired, or the quality, like we just don't know, right? And so it's in your budget, right?
Yes, it
It's
is.
already allocated, and
Mhm.
everything. So with that, unresponsive and didn't fulfill the requirements, and look forward to time.
Well, when we talked about it, you told me your concerns, and I think it's a no-brainer.
I would just say you have to accept as is,
Okay,
unconditional, whether they decide to lower pricing, we accept the bid as it is, or we reject all. Can't renegotiate after.
okay.
So I'll wait for,
I'll make a motion to accept Tyler Technologies.
I'll second.
and I'll make that unanimous, and thank you for coming.
Can you sign these today then?
Mhm.
There's two different places to sign. One of them is for the contract and the other is for the bond. It requires you guys to sign.
All three of us? Or one?
I think all three of you.
Okay.
I have to give it back and then they'll have to have somebody sign it. You want a copy beforehand? You don't have to do that 3 different times. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I miss all the things. It's not break my heart. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
You
Have a
too.
good night. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
All right, next item up on the agenda is Miss Stockdale with Genesis House and Friends.
We're just here from Morris.
Oh, okay.
Hello again, Julie.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. So as you all remember, I came here a couple months ago. Genesis House is in the middle of a bed expansion to be able to provide more services to women in our area. Just a fun fact for you guys, in a 12-county area, there are only 5 certified recovery homes for women. And we are actually, we just certified up with the state. So we're now also an outpatient treatment center and a level 4 recovery residence, which allows us to provide IOP in-house. It allows us to have doctors, psychs, and therapists all in-house to meet the clients, to bridge the gap with transportation services to get them to providers. So like we're really working hard to be the best that we can be. And we have found that there is a long wait list. So operating and opening more beds is a top priority for us. In our capital campaign to expand our bed services, it's a $741,000 project. We're down to needing the last $91,000. That's what it comes down to. It's $91,000. We already own the building. We've already done all the architectural plans. We've gotten it rezoned. We've done everything that we need to do. We're just waiting to start the demolition. One of the contingencies of that is that we're in a match with Metro United Way, and that I have to have my share of the money, which means that last $91,000 by September, or else I lose the match. So it's down to the nitty gritty, and I'm doing everything on my end, but I've hit a spot because any grants that I submit from this point forward will not be able to award money prior to the deadline. That's just not how the grants work and the way that the time spaces out. So I'm back here again asking if I can request a smaller amount of money, if that might be something that Scott County would be able to do to assist with your share of the residents that we have served over the last 5 years and that we hope to continue to serve. So whenever I first came here and I asked you, based on the percentage of Scott County residents that I've served since we opened, for that percentage of the remodel money, which would have been $76,000. I'm coming back today to ask if you all would be willing to assist us with $25,000.
I'm gonna say yes.
You are?
Yes.
You're
And
not
I'm
going to
gonna
make me
tell
cry
you-
today?
No. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because Anissa
Ms. Collins, yes.
is a good friend of mine.
Okay.
Okay. And so, I talked with her, a couple weeks ago, and, so she's, very high on you for sure, and, talked about what an amazing job you do, amazing journey you've had. And, I've let her know, hey, we're gonna help. We just got caught in a with a project. And it's like, how's all this, working out? I'm still trying to get bids to come in. But, I appreciate you sticking with us, and I think for what you guys do, and I've always felt like if we got skin in the game, we need to pay for it too. And I've talked to Kelly about it back there too, about your program as well. So, but I know you're doing a good job over there because, like I say, I know your commissioner really thinks a lot of you, and I think she's very engaged in what you're all doing as well. So you sound
She volunteers at our house. She's on my board, and then she also runs a clothing closet that she provides services to my residents, and then they go and volunteer there for her. So yeah, she's very intertwined in what we do.
So I'm happy to help.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be yes too, because we ran the numbers tonight, and we have that amount that we can, above and beyond what we need to finish our project. And I'm sorry to keep having you come back. The project was, we've been 4 years in the making of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I think it's been a dream of ours to have a building right here in Scott County that everybody can utilize. And, something close to us. But we have that much, and so I would be a yes too.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. And Megan, mental health means a lot to me. Just family, friends, military brothers and sisters that have gone through a lot, and especially citizens of Scott County. If anyone can get help and do better for themselves and get away from the generational curse or just better themselves, I just want to say thank you for all you do. And thank you to everyone else in Scott County that's supporting you. And so I'm glad to say yes as well.
Thank you very much.
So
Sir.
thank you for all you do.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come back and pitch to you guys.
So I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
We got to put a resolution.
I have a
together.
resolution that we'd already prepared from the previous request to just change the amount. And I'm guessing it's for the same
It is.
program, so. Well, make exhibit to it.
gentlemen. I do appreciate it. One step closer, I have a meeting tomorrow following this meeting that will hopefully, they wanted to kind of see how this panned out before they met with me. So hopefully that will close out our gap and then we can start construction. Once we start construction, they're saying 6 to 8 months we'll be open and ready to serve. And that is going to expand our bed capacity by 21. So it's going to make a big difference. 4 of those beds are specifically for pregnant women. So they can come in, they can come pregnant. We'll do all the prenatal. We get them started in parenting classes. They deliver the babies. The babies live in our house. We have 2 beds right now, so we're going to expand that program.
But you're saying that your request to us was for staffing positions, right?
Yes, so we need, that's part of the expansion is that we have to have the staff to cover the people that we see. So as we expand this project, that is one thing that we are going to have is I can't have 46 women and only 2 full-time employees.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea.
I just want to make sure that when we approve what we're approving, which I think that a brick and mortar expansion would also qualify. But if we're going to approve the money to be used for staffing, it has to be used for staffing.
Yeah, I think in the original one it talked about the capital campaign. I'm not positive what I had typed up. I don't know what went on the original agenda for me. It was about.
There was the separate packet that she submitted as well. I think I sent.
Was that,
This is the resolution for sure. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
okay.
Yeah, you do talk about the additional beds. Okay.
Just for you all to know, I do have a Scott County lady right now that just found out that she is pregnant and she got her first ultrasound yesterday, and so she will be in our non-union program as well. She was already living there and then came home pregnant. It happens sometimes.
What resolution number is it?
Please keep us up to date on everything. And love to come to this sometime, just see how things going, progress.
Absolutely.
And all your success stories.
Thank you. Yes, I will,
Thank you.
for sure.
Say, you don't get into that business unless you just have a caring heart and really want to do, and so I just want to say thank you on behalf of the community that, that that's something that you feel called to do.
You definitely got to be crazy enough to work in this field.
Oh, 6. All right, so I've got 3 votes to pass resolution number 2025-R06.
Resolution for $25,000 for the settlement restricted funds for the project funds submitted.
I'll make a motion
yeah,
to approve that.
Was that a vote or? Yeah.
I think we
I'll
need to
second,
do it.
yeah.
I'll make that unanimous. Do I need to read this? Yeah.
What do I do from here?
Should just be,
We'll get your chair.
yeah, it would go first to the county council.
Okay.
They'll have to approve for an additional appropriation. When do you need the money by? Or do you just need to?
If I have a proof of funds, that's all that I need until September.
So, then obviously you want a copy of this.
Yes,
tonight.
miss.
And then that will go to the council. It will take,
Actually, it'll be September before, I'm sorry, August. I'll have to
It'll be-
advertise, it'll be August before.
August before they can appropriate it, but they just have to advertise for it, so they should have theirs the first Tuesday of August is when they have their meetings, so, that's when the funds would be available.
And that will be the 12th.
Second Tuesday.
And if I have to drive it down to,
I will.
Always use an excuse when I watch a conference. Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Everybody, excuse me for a minute. Some water.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I was in Corden a couple weeks ago.
And yes, that is one of those amazing humans. Like her heart is just, I was really excited to see her get into the position. She's going to do a lot.
Yeah, she's a very good person.
But thank you for taking the time to hear her. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I told her, I said, hey, we're going to have her, and then she started telling me a lot about you. So you've done a good job.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
I appreciate your all's time today.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
See you.
CAC? Children's Advocacy.
And that was just the form that's been mailed in. I didn't know if you wanted me to invite her here or not. That was the email to you, the Children's Advocacy.
Is it for the opioid?
That would be what we restricted. Don't know that she had an amount in
So. One, three, two, okay.
there. We gave them some amount.
Oh,
Oh, I touched it, just see the screen.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where it is.
Okay. You want to see this?
No, I don't know where I saw that number.
And this is something that we routinely get.
Yes. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Thank you. I'm good.
We have the money in the fund for it?
We do.
You're looking for the restricted, right?
If that works.
It would qualify.
Um,
I fully believe in CAC as well. They do a great mission.
Okay. So, next item on the agenda.
I think if y'all would just table this, I'm not expecting to review this. We might have.
Oh, I thought that's what we voted on. I haven't come in.
Oh, you want to vote to have them come in?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We'll make a motion to table
But I think I need more information.
and ask them to come in.
Inside of this.
I'll second.
I'll make
I
that
don't
one.
already know what they do, but
Okay, next item up on the agenda is Brackney's Big Ox Road property.
I've received no communication since the last meeting related to that property,
Mhm.
so.
Did we say we need to come back in on this meeting?
And saying continuous contact to know what's going on. And he agreed to that.
Have you contacted you at all related to, because we tried to?
Not that I'm aware of.
Let's table this until the next meeting and see where it is. I'm going to say if there's been no outreach and no communication before our next meeting, then I'll make a motion to take action out there to clean the property up.
Kevin, would it be possible for you to just maybe go take a look out there from your perspective? I know that you originally went out there and looked at what it would be from the county's perspective to do the cleanup, but there has been some cleanup and some changes out there. Since you looked at it, it might be less of a task than it previously was. If you would just go take a look at it, maybe take some pictures to figure out what, if anything, has changed.
Make a motion to table, talk through, for next meeting.
Yeah.
I'll make that unanimous. Next item on the agenda is Mr. Kevin Hall.
If you could amend the agenda, I got bioetics here, and I forgot to put it on there, but we've been trying to get.
No, they're on
there. Oh, they on there?
Yeah.
Well, maybe something else I forgot. Anyway,
No, the presentation wasn't on there, so do we need to? No.
that's what I'm talking about. But I've been in a couple of these trainings. It's some AI technology for road asset management. So, you know, it is a contract type deal. I'd ask him just to present it to you guys so you can see it.
Now, did you read off the slides, or did you just, you wing it? What kind of presenter are you?
I got all this like down to.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I brought some handouts if that's all right for everybody too. That we have them. And then here's at least a base proposal. That way you at least see general cost, everything on there in terms of that. That right here, just for you. At the very bottom of it is like just our basics, general terms and conditions if you need to review any of that. It's mostly just around data privacy and ownership of the data.
Is it cloud-based, or?
It is cloud-based, yeah. So all of our data goes on. Awesome. Well, cool. Let me know when I'm out of time. I'll give you a very high level overview of the system and keep it super brief. But nice to meet you all. Slater Rush with Biolytics. I'm our Midwest market manager, living in Fishers, Indiana, born and raised in Greenfield, Indiana, Hancock County. But traditionally, you know, how counties have essentially kept track of their just assets and the conditions of the roads. It's been historically done all manually. One or two people hopping in a vehicle or a truck driving at very slow speeds, usually 15, 20 miles per hour, having to stop at the end of every road segment, literally writing it either on pen and paper, or they have a computer in the truck, typing it into an Excel file, and then putting that into their asset management plan, which is required to be submitted to the state of Indiana or LTAP, and then NDOT every other year, essentially. So, you know, most counties have been manually doing this, or they'll essentially contract this out to a third-party consulting firm that are usually also coming on site and manually doing it, you know, driving it, doing it the same way the county would. So Biolytics is a AI road management system that allows the county to be able to do all of this in-house on a more ongoing, consistent basis, so they can keep track of their road conditions more consistently rather than just once a year or once every other year, but also automate that entire process. So this is all done literally on iPhones mounted on any DPW vehicle or municipal vehicle. As you're driving along, the software is taking still photos every 10 feet and automatically identifying all of these surface level pavement stresses. So it's a really easy process, and pretty much anybody can utilize this system. We've even seen interns do it, but essentially how it works, it's all on the mobile condition assessment app. Once the phone's mounted, you just hit start, all you do is drive. You can drive up to 40 miles per hour. As of now, we're actually looking at increasing that speed pretty quickly here soon with the newest iPhones, but it's, you know, much quicker, a lot less labor intensive than the manual process, and it's a lot safer as well. You know, you're not having to drive at very slow speeds, you know, possibly parked, you know, stopped around the corner with cars driving much quicker than you. So it's also a, you know, safety standpoint there as well. But, you know, once they get done with any particular condition assessment, all they do is bring the phones back to the highway building. As soon as they connect to Wi-Fi, it automatically processes all of that, and then data is available in the web system where you can actually utilize that and plan accordingly with the data. Rather than just getting a one-time report showing you all your PASER ratings, you're gonna actually have all the image data showing you exactly why it's getting that, where we can make the quickest improvements that increase our overall road network score. So that's generally how it works. This is kind of what it would look like.
Sorry, one question.
Yeah.
Do y'all provide phones, or would this be highway department phones?
We can do either or. So most of the counties currently utilizing us in Indiana, we have provided the phones for.
Is that factored into this cost?
It is, yep. So there's, 2 in that. I think that would be sufficient, with the amount of miles that Scott County has in terms of doing the condition assessments. No, absolutely fine. Please interrupt if any questions come up. But this is to give you an example of what our AI is doing. So whereas normally your visual eyesight is, relied on to identify all of these surface level pavement distresses, our AI model is automatically trained to identify them, just while you're driving. So, a lot less variability in that. If I were to go rate all your roads today manually and, Scott or somebody else goes and rates those roads, or Kevin goes and rates those roads, anybody, there's a high probability we may come up with 2 completely different scores. So, this is going to eliminate a lot of that variability. And then it'll upload into a web system like this where you can actually manage and manipulate all of that data and filter down. So this is Knox County, for example. They've been a client for almost 2 years now. But up in the top right-hand corner, you can see your overall road network score out of all the miles that you've driven. You can also go back in time. So in the agreement, the county owns the data. So, even if 3 years down the road from now, you decided not to continue with Biolytics, you'll still have all of the previous data that you've ever collected. So you're never going to lose any of that data. And really the big thing with this too is we don't cap you on how much data that you can collect. So whereas you would pay, probably the same price, if not more, for a one-time assessment contracted out, you're paying that same price to do unlimited condition assessments on an ongoing basis, so we can continue to identify issues as they're arising on the roads to cut more long-term costs. The earlier we can start to identify pavement defects, the sooner we can deploy more preventative maintenance tactics rather than full reconstructions later down the road. As soon as early on issues start to happen, they, with our weather conditions and weather patterns that we have with freeze fall, they'll turn into much worse conditions fairly quickly. So this is going to allow us to filter and identify a lot of those issues. We can narrow this data down. The other nice part is instead of just getting, a typical one-time report, you're also going to have your own updated, this will load updated live Google Street View of every road as well. So in the actual system, I don't know if it'll load, but you're also getting all of that image data though. So you can log in, click in any point and travel along just like Google Street View on any of the points.
What is the margin for error? Say first, I know AI is hard to beat, but like from individuals, say Kevin goes out and does it, being an expert in an AI, what is the typical, did you got the human element?
Yeah, I mean, we've always been within about 1 in terms of PASER ratings, on a 1 through 10 scale. So compared it to manually, we took the data from the way that Michigan PASER manual has been trained on and taught, and trained our AI based on that model. So we're extremely confident that it's accurate. We partner with some of the largest engineering firms all across the U.S. too, and not only are doing PASER ratings, but PCI, which is another pavement condition index that's utilized in many other states. We're very comparable even to LiDAR data when we've done testing. So, yeah, sorry, I don't know if I have actual internet access.
That's very impressive.
It is, yeah, I'm very.
To be that close.
Director, like,
How it would go.
I think it's where it's on the screen cast, or it's casting directly to the wide eye, Wi-Fi.
oh, that hijacks the,
So yeah, if you kick off, you'll lose the screen to get on internet. So,
probably just back to the presentation.
yeah.
Kevin, you have one in your pocket too?
I think at this point, it's more of a discussion and to look at the next budget cycle. It isn't anything that I'm wanting to, ask you to sign tonight. It was more to get to kind of the facts. I definitely think
Is that
the highway department will be going this way at some point. Yeah. Right now, how we do it is, like you said, you go drive the roads and then put it in. I think as we go forward on our preservation end of things, it may be a good tool where we can actually go out and assess the roads a lot more, a lot quicker.
Unlimited data, you can just have it in the truck all the time.
Yeah. Another thing that I used to brought up, somebody brought up to me is, say, NDOT uses unofficial right of way, you can run down that road and actually, get a pacer rating. Hey, this road's a 6 when it turned into a unofficial detour, and now after the detour, it's a 1. And it's not I wouldn't say pacer rating is an opinion.
We use video.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's an opinion, but it's close.
I could see
another
the
tool.
state of Indiana with the grants, with the money and grants that they give us, issue us, that they would feel better about issuing those grants with something like this.
Yeah, because you have the AI, the visual. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think it would be a great tool.
Yeah, on top of just the phaser ratings, and sorry, I won't be able to go back up there, but just to give you a general idea, we're not only rating the roads and giving road conditions, but we're also automatically inventorying all street signs, manholes, storm drains. So a lot of counties have used us for their HSIP grants and projects this year, actually, through the USI. USI is one of our partners, but they've been utilizing us for that. And then we have full work order management and budgeting and planning built into the software as well. So whereas most highway departments are just kind of manually keeping track of where, work orders need to be completed and assigned, printing off, papers and handing them out. It's all done through the system. So that way, the department can run reports at the end of the year or end of the quarter and say, here's exactly how many potholes we filled. Here's exactly how many signs we did work to or replace. We're also looking at, the conditions of all of those assets. Knox County, which I was going to show an example, they actually have all of their small structures, bridges, and culverts inventory in our system, and they keep track of all the work that's been done to any of them within the system as well.
I believe Kelly would have that in.
Keep track of our signs, you almost have to do it with that, like.
Don't say, because mine's stolen pretty frequently out of that area.
Let me kind of break that down so like you said, I think that you can run up to 40 mile an hour now, and with that, if you go out and accurately pace a road at 309 miles that we have and do it like you're supposed to do it, you're talking about a massive amount of time yearly. If you truly was getting out and doing a true assessment on every road like you're supposed to be doing.
So, just a quick question, is this something that could be set up in our mowers?
That's a good question. It's a possibility. While they drive, they could do that.
I mean, you're going down that road anyway, no.
Be something to look at. It would be awful question.
I mean, a lot of them, the nice part is with the phones, we provide a few different mounts that work great in different types of vehicles and things like that. So we have several, just for example, for cities, they, a lot of them put it in their street sweepers because they're already hitting a lot of the roads. So if a mower was out, not to say it couldn't be mounted on there, but it would depend on, the angle and, how it's driving on the road essentially.
And then depending on what user accounts, if employees are taking stipends and everything, it might be something to add to the agreement if they wanted to plug up their own phone, put on a stand or something while they're out driving around or mowing or whatnot. If they have a user account or access to the app, they could also do it. But if they're receiving a stipend, could be a possibility.
You guys, Bob and Derek, do you all utilize this program at all?
And that's about kind of how we got started with Bioletics. We contacted them to do some of the roads that we have, contracts with other counties and municipalities. And we really like the system to the point that we started using it, buying miles from Bioletics. And then we got into an agreement with Bioletics, so we're kind of partners with the program itself and how we can use it within the county. There's a couple counties that we do have that we do the bridge inspections with that I'm also on their system. So if they have a flood situation or a need for us to come out immediately to look at a bridge, they can send the order out to me and I can contact one of our engineers to get out immediately it timestamps it so that now they know what time they sent that to us, the date, the time, and when we were out there looking at it, we could timestamp it back to show for any type of legality reasons of when we're getting those things taken care of. The same thing could go for any type of Kevin's workers, any of those people out there. If he knows of a situation, he can put something in, a pothole or whatever needs to get fixed. They can go out, it timestamps and says this is what time that came out, and then they can get it fixed, take a picture of it, have a record showing what the previous and then what it got done at. So if somebody files a complaint and sometime after that was fixed, then we can look at that legality wise and say, well, maybe this is a false claim and not have to pay some of that. So there's a lot of things there that are valuable outside of just the PASER rating itself. That's kind of why we really took off to looking at Biolytics and wanting to use it, and why we became partners with Biolytics to be able to represent that to the counties that we go with.
No?
Do you all have an exclusive partnership with Biolytics, or is Biolytics open to work with other consulting firms in Indiana?
We have several firms utilizing us. So, yeah, in terms of other firms utilizing us, we don't have any sort of exclusivity agreements in those places in terms of that. USI is a reseller, so it's a little bit different in that standpoint. Any firm can use us. ERI is using us right now for Allen County. So,
Is USI exclusive on reselling?
legally, we don't have an exclusivity agreement in place. I would say from a Biolytics standpoint, we're not necessarily out there searching for other firms to partner with, I guess, from a reseller standpoint in certain territories. But there's no, legally, we can't have an exclusivity agreement with any of our engineering firms that we partner with. From that technical standpoint, because we have a national partner, Tensar, they do GeoGrid, they're a national partner for us.
Good.
Is this something we're kind of using on the public side of things? Or is it a little different program?
No, it wouldn't be necessarily anything.
The information,
Different.
Okay.
the information that we get with the culvert part, we can import that information to that. So all the inspections that we've done with the program that we work with Kevin, that can all be imported into this. So then he can only go to one system to look at it, and then you can see all that. So it makes it very seamless. That's how all the bridge inspection data gets in there, because they can take the shape files, import them into the program. Now we've got all the bridge inspection reports are all right there on that one program.
We can save all the documents in there for any bridge inspection report that's ever been done, so we can have inventory of any of your assets within the system. Guardrails, culverts, bridges, small structures. And then that's where the work order management side can be utilized to keep track of any work that's been done or needed to be done to any of those structures as well. Like, for example, like Matt with Knox County, he's at Gibson County now. He was their county engineer, but he was at a conference in Illinois and had a farmer give him a call about a culvert that was collapsing, and he was able to pull it up on his mobile phone, create a work order, and send one of his guys out when he wasn't even there, at the highway department. So something that can be used too.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. And you said this is something you want to look for adding possible budgetary stuff for next year?
Yeah, I just wanted you guys to see it. I want to look at the funding. I'm working on the budget now. There's a lot of changes going on. Obviously, I thought it was going to be a good tool for especially applying for grants and such. But that's all that's changing. So I think it's a great tool. There's no doubt about it. It's cost versus reward, and those are the things to think about. To kind of feel out what the next year's budget is going to look like.
And how the whole program.
How the whole program's going to look like. Yeah, I'm sold on what it is.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. As far as actual going out and getting great PACER ratings and getting them in a timely manner.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And the,
Very efficient. Right?
Very efficient.
and the work or the ticketing system
Yeah.
and everything else with it.
It has a tons of positives too.
Oh,
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you have the money or you can fit in your budget,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's the way with me. I think basically it'd have to come out of 1176, and that's tight anyway. But it like I said, it's just money versus reward. You know, if the grants and CCMG is still flowing good, you can utilize that stuff. But if it doesn't,
Because this could have told us if Timberhook Bridge is gonna fail, right?
no, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't necessarily cover that.
I'm joking.
Not that good AI.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's
I
impressive.
don't know that we want to get into that.
I'm joking.
It's impressive. I think it'll keep
Nostradamus
growing.
didn't even know that.
You know. All right, I got a handful of.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Safe drive back.
Thank you.
All right, here's my handful of other things. Kinderhook Road, they set the main structure today. They built it on the road. They got it in the hoe. We're putting rock over it for the weekend, so that's moving fine. We had a surprise water main in the footprint. So,
One or two.
one still hooked to it when I got there, but it's in the hole safely, so it all looks good. So 16,000 pounds of oil. The water main, thanks to report, they jumped on it, got out there, got it rerouted and rehooked up. Didn't really slow us down hardly any, because I personally think maybe during the original flood that got took out and then it got moved. Don't really know, but that's what we're all guessing because we didn't know it was there.
Did you ever find that other structure?
They did. It was down in there.
It was
It's
down
covered up with a bunch of stuff. They had it dug up and thrown to the side there for a while. So they found it. So anyway, that's going good. Chip seal, the CCMG chip seal. Payment Solutions gave me a tentative date of 7/28 right now. On the week of 7/14, the contractor will be down and they will set pre-warning signs on every road saying, there'll be preservation treatments on tentatively this date or after on all the roads that they're going to be working on. So the public bus will release something, that they're going to be at. So that's where we're at on that. I got this for you guys. So I know Greg contacted me. I've been contacted a couple times on mowing of the health department. I asked you, once again, it's all about money, right? We got some rental options of equipment because, we don't have anything to go out and mow a field right now. And then I had Abbott give you a price. He's done some mowing for the county before, with his skid loader and bush hog. So he shot you some prices on it. It's going to cost us $650 a day to rent the skid loader and bush hog attachment. And so you can compare his prices. Y'all's call. It is what it is to me. So I just thought it'd be fair to look at it.
$650.
A day. Yeah.
Yeah, his mower, his mower.
I mean, did you ask for him to try?
To mow the health department? or
The field behind the health department, but I also had him shoot all the county properties that need an actual bush hog. So tri-hog properties.
Yeah.
And
The city.
last year we done the landfill too. But you guys are going to do that now. The city reaches out. Their code enforcement guy and wants that field mow behind it that goes up to the apartments
I didn't know if it's
a couple times a year.
field to the beaches.
I want to talk about that. Clark Road?
Yeah.
They've recreated it.
They were supposed to be out there, but I'll double check because Ben told me about it.
Yeah, they told me.
Yeah, and he probably did, but he was off night. I know they was in route.
I forgot to follow up with
Then
them.
that skid steer with the attachment. And if you add up $650 a day for those properties, yeah. I mean, and then you got your guys doing it, so.
How much is the skid steer attachment?
The skid steer attachment is $250 a day, but if you get the skid loader and the mower, it's $650 a day.
I think the better off to just keep somebody local to do the mowing for you. And we already.
I'll just be honest with you, I don't really.
It's a added expense on the equipment.
Yeah, because right now our equipment's got to be on the road every single day.
Sure, yeah.
Well, what we got, I can't pull it
Well,
out.
I mean, and let's face it, I mean, that's more hours on the equipment. And
Anyway,
but for this amount,
Per acre though, right?
a year.
no, I think he had guesstimate hours on there. He did put acres on there, but
Yeah.
he had his guesstimated, I call guesstimate, maybe that's dead on, but he had his hours basically of what he thought it would. And he put Pigeon Roost on there 0. He's historically like volunteered and done Pigeon Roost. He said he's just going to continue to do that. He put it on there
We're looking at 25,000, wasn't it?
for an actual 15
15,000 for the attachment.
Yeah.
Plus the wear and tear on our
machine.
machine.
Do you have that?
Employee.
15,000.
Or do you have the?
Do I have the money?
Do we have it? You could enter.
I can't see them.
Sorry.
We looked at it today. I think, and then if not, we've got the new vertical bridge. The cell phone contract. We've got a line there too that's not been vertical bridge. That's the cell phone. Oh. The tower
Oh, yeah.
behind the highway.
We have that.
I think we can get that out of there, yes.
Well,
Yes, unless y'all wanting to. I mean, I think the quote's so low that you.
We've been passing around, I just want to make.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be at your all's discretion. It's well below both mandatory, and I think we have an ordinance that allows you to make purchases under $10,000 by any means you deem appropriate.
He's always done a good job, so
I'll
I'm
make
good with that.
Yeah, I make a motion to give Jonathan Abbott some mowing work for $2,375. And that's taking care of the transfer station, health department, and trial hall.
and Pigeon Roost.
Does it say,
And Pigeon Roost for free.
Yeah, he's doing Pigeon Roost for free.
Does it say the dates and when he would accomplish that? Because I have a feeling he'll probably be migrating for the next 2 weeks at the fair. Since he's on the fair board.
I don't know.
I can find out. He was at the shop today and brought me that
For
down.
me,
Yeah, I might do
grass
that.
is growing so rapid, the longer he pushes it off, the better it'll look in the fall.
That might be. And I tell you, we mowed that transfer, I say we, when the guys mowed the transfer station last year, that is a job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not an easy task.
It's a rough job.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so
I got a motion,
Second.
and then I'll make that unanimous.
Yeah. I'll put it on minutes, but I'll need an invoice when it gets done.
Okay.
I got, the supplement agreement for the bridge inspections. I think Bob has talked to you guys about this individually. They want more money. Now, the federal highway, they're changing the original contract, so there'll be a supplement to it. The supplement is $31,000. That'll be $20,000 to the, that'll be 20% to the county. So $6,000 additional. It ain't really an option, so we'll cover it. Signatures. If you want, bro.
Do we need to vote on this? You said an increase?
We did. Yes.
20%? How much total?
It'd be 6,000 to the county. It's 31,000. It's 80/20 split federal.
Okay.
So it'd be 6,000 to us. The rest of it's on federal.
Where are we pulling that money from?
I'll pay for it out of the Keep Rich Fund.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the $6,000 increase for the highway department.
Bridge inspections.
Bridge.
Adam makes a motion.
I'll second to give Bob my money.
Right.
Greg has a second, and I'll make that unanimous.
Anyway, so that wasn't on the agenda.
I thought that was on it and Bioletics wasn't. So I messed that up. Next quick thing I got is Leak Engineering, who's doing our ADA in Title VI, to get us in compliance with that. Has invoiced us $10,517. I was going to take this to the council, if you guys is good with it, and see if they had somewhere. We can cover the cost if need be, because we have to for to be in compliance for any funding. But I felt like it's really the county's ADA and Title VI plan that maybe some money ought to come out of something else. I mean, we can pay it, but if we pay it, basically, it's asphalt. I mean, you look right down to it. I mean, it's just less asphalt. So I'll take that to them. You guys good with that? And
Yeah.
see if there is somewhere else to pay it out of. If there ain't, then we'll deal with it.
Please do. I think I'd rather have the asphalt.
That's it. My list is marked off.
You got FMLA?
Yeah. What are we doing with that now? We're sliding it over.
Yeah,
We
just
do
slide
that
that
meeting.
over. And honestly, I can, cause that didn't go through, payroll.
Well, I guess if there's any questions about that, you can just call me or whatever needs to be done on
All right, thank you, Kevin.
that.
And thank you for all your help and all the other guys' help out. Transfer station.
Thank you.
Oh, and tell Kevin Sawyer's senior.
Okay.
Thank you very much for on-call, going out to Slate Forward and Reeves, one weekend, and fixing, someone ran over a stop sign and took out a mailbox.
Okay.
Within, 30 minutes of me calling, he was out there fixing it, so, tell him, thank you very much for letting him know. Doing that.
I get it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
See you, Bob.
Thanks, guys.
I'm gonna try to go get some more money.
Good luck.
Good, Derek.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, the next item on the agenda is Andrew Campbell. County meeting requirements.
Tell us what we gotta do, Boston.
Well, I think this is, more of a, let's put it this way, the council's attorney and I and Andrew have had a discussion. You guys made a motion at the last meeting, I think, to require all public meetings to occur in this room. We went back, the purpose of that is because effective July 1st, all public meetings that occurred, or our understanding at the time, was all public meetings that occurred,
All boards.
for any boards of a political subdivision that occurred in a room with the capacity to, I'm sorry, our understanding was that it didn't.
Correct.
Had to live stream every single board, regardless of capacity. Council's attorney and I, Andrew, went back on Andrew's request, actually, so I credit him with this, reviewed it together, and we have all come to the conclusion that what it requires is that any board meeting that takes place in a location that is feasible and you already have the capacity to do a live stream in here, you do a live stream. So there's a series of boards that are already meeting in this room.
Mhm.
I mean, this is not gonna change.
Election board, drainage board.
Redevelopment.
Yeah.
So if they meet in here, they will be held
Yes.
to that bill.
Now,
So like health board, community corrections board, they're not held to that because they're not a governing board.
they're not a governing board of it.
So,
Well, they also don't necessarily meet in this room.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
If they were meeting in this room, then we would require them to do that.
Yep.
I think this might apply to where your old
training depot.
the training depot.
Yeah, they
Training
have meetings
depot.
over there.
Yeah, so I don't think it would apply to them either.
yep. So last meeting when I was gun ho and I was like, hey, let's do everything here, we're just
All we're saying
taking
is,
that back.
yeah, we're gonna take that back. But we're just amending the resolution or motion by the board to say that any meetings that occur in this room with the capacity to do that, the audio visual recorded and live streamed.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Groups that have historically met in here, then they try to move to a different location.
I don't think we're talking about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We're not trying to,
Anyone try to circumvent that law?
we're not trying to circumvent the requirements of public access, and I think that would actually fundamentally violate other provisions in the public access
Okay,
laws.
cool. Want to make sure I put that out there.
What the law permits is that, especially smaller counties are going to be the counties that are most affected by this law, that we don't have to, for instance, go out and purchase additional owls or other equipment and then place them in 20 different locations around the county where every board meets.
Yeah.
That's overly burdensome, and I think that when the legislative session occurred, they kind of took that into account, because the language seems to imply that it applies in locations where you're already capable, right? We are not saying, hey, boards that have been meeting in this room, go find a different
Well, no,
place.
and I wanted to make sure that wasn't,
No.
that wasn't an option. Yeah.
So I would just request that we make a motion to stay consistent with the amendments to the Public Records Act. And then I have actually something after Andrew gets done, because we have another piece that we talked about a little bit of. But Andrew doesn't know as much about this one.
What else you got?
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Oh, second that.
So in addition to the new requirements for audio and visual live streaming, we are now required to, for any board meeting notice or agenda, must provide the following information regarding each appointed officer serving on the board: the officer's name, the appointing authority, and the beginning and expiration date of the officer's term of appointment. So, Andrew, this doesn't really apply to you.
Yeah, but
Okay,
we can
but
always double check.
there's a bunch of these boards that maybe don't know this. And some of ours, right, they'd be meeting in this redevelopment,
Absolutely.
right? This would apply to the Visitors Commission, Health Board, any.
So it's all boards. Ooh, okay.
Because this is just all boards.
Okay.
Their meeting notices and agendas must provide this information. So I think that, my suggestion is that you make a resolution that any boards that consist of appointed membership in the county provide this information on any future meeting notices that are provided and their agendas. So if they use an agenda, they don't necessarily have to, but if they use an agenda, this information must be disclosed. And then,
I would suspect our HR firm should already have a memo or something typed up for something like this, right, that we can blast out
I
there.
would doubt that they do. Yeah.
And they have to be publicly accessed or viewable, all these agendas and notices.
I mean, here's where I'm going. And just everybody kind of bear with me here. Because the other requirement is that, so that information is contained in section 6. Section 7 says, the information under section 6 of this chapter regarding a board's appointed officers shall be published on the board's website, if any, or the appointing authority's website, if any, or published on the internet through the computer gateway administered by the Office of Technology. We operate our own website, okay? We need to go through the process at this point of creating a page of, probably this may already exist, but a page of boards, membership for each of those boards, who appoints the membership for those boards, and what the beginning and expiration dates of each of the individual members are. And my suggestion is that go up on our county website as quickly as possible.
Okay.
then as for agendas and notices, we already have this in, or we can just make subcategories as for boards. So, and if that needs to be thrown in, we could do that. From my reading, what I would say is it uses the term appointed officer. An appointed officer means an elected or elected officer of the state or subdivision who is appointed to serve on a board by an appointing authority. An appointing authority is defined as appointing authority means an elected officer or board of members who are elected officers in the state or local subdivision. So I don't think that this board is technically within the ambit of what this law tries to get at, but my suggestion would be, out of an abundance of caution, that we go ahead and include the Board of Commissioners and Council on that and put the same thing for you guys. Your names and information, your, you don't really have an appointed authority, I think we just say elected official, right?
Mhm.
And then put beginning date of term, end date of term, right? I think that's the simplest way to maybe over comply in this situation. Easy. And what if we're already doing it, it makes sense to just go ahead. I mean, we already have the information there, we can just add to it. Yep. Anything else for me? Thank you. Sweet.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thanks for that.
Have a good evening. All right, I'm gonna change, the, layout of our agenda here a little bit. Just to get through some of this a little easier. So let's move, Mr. Bowles. Let's bring you up next.
Take a minute, I'm coming.
You're fine, you're fine.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda, bring this vote up.
Second.
I'll make that unanimous. All right,
Thank you all. Just following up on our discussion we had a couple weeks ago about the sites throughout the county, you know, and I've been to them and we can do it for, you know, no cost to you guys at all. And now the Sasco bag thing, are you guys still gonna be in charge of Sasco bags, or can I take the Sasco bags, or how would that all work? I don't know how.
I've given this some thought.
Okay, go ahead.
And I think the best way to do that, is, I mean, naturally, I think it'd be better to get rid of Sasco bags.
Yeah.
Or the stickers, I'm sorry. But honor the stickers that we have out there. But I think it'd be best to, maybe if you guys had just take a baggie. I mean, of course, we gotta talk about this.
Yeah.
But if you had a baggie or something, you just rip that Sasco sticker off.
Okay.
And stick it in a baggie and then hand it to us at the transfer station. If you're planning to take the trash to our transfer station.
That's where we'd like to go with it. And that way we can get rid of it and be ready for the next day.
But I think that would be and then if you talk to the people, you know, who has multiple stickers and stuff, just tell them, just bring you the sticker, don't put it on the bag.
Okay.
You know,
That will work. I mean,
that would be the best way for us to keep track of that, I think, at the transfer station.
But, I mean, I didn't know, you know, what kind of follow-up we needed, but I'm trying to move forward. And if I can save you guys, I believe that, you know, we can probably get this pulled off. I've been to the sites and it's not gonna be much contest for us.
Yeah. So I like it. What do you?
Greg, you want to go first?
I mean, from my standpoint, I mean, I appreciate, George, you guys following up and such. I think this, from the board side of things, we've got to come up with a plan and get on the same page, and we're not there yet.
Okay.
And
And that's what I appreciate. it.
yeah, we really need to come up with something. We haven't got there yet.
Okay. And I know there's plenty of stuff you have to do. I mean, it's crazy, I know.
And I think that's pretty much the gist of it. We just got to figure out, what our approach is going to be.
Okay.
From that standpoint, that would be fair to you guys and anybody else who's looking at this out there. So that's where I'm at tonight.
And I have to say, I respect the hustle. I respect the business mind aspect. Like you're showing up, you're wanting the business.
Yes.
And I can appreciate that, as a business owner. We got a lot of moving parts. The scales, how much longer do we got for their operation?
Probably another 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Once we get those up and going and the revenue coming in and all that, and then reevaluate the satellite sites, what's going on there, how can we get the liability off the county? How can we, do the bids, see what's going on, who can take that over and then get IDEM off us? And, how can we make it better, right? And so, like Greg said, want to make it fair for everyone, sure, and whatnot. And so that's where I'm at as well.
And that's okay. I just don't follow up, that's all.
And it's not a no, it's like we got so many things going on and don't want to mess with one thing before we get the scales up and going.
Right.
Because I want to make sure we get the scales up and going operational and there's no kinks or any upsets with that before we move on to the other. And that's where I'm personally at. And as many calls as I gotten about the transfer for the satellite sites, I want to make sure they're in good hands. And I want to make sure, and they may very possibly do with you.
I can tell you, I'll take care of it.
Yeah. And so,
I mean, these guys know me, they know.
oh yeah, we can do. So yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Well, thank you.
Just thank you.
Yeah.
And then if you guys need anything, call me.
Sure.
Because we're looking to go forward. If we can help you guys, and we'll try our best.
Absolutely. Yeah, we
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, George. Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it. See you guys.
Thank you.
I would like to give an update on that. We are negative right now in Sasco, and we've not sold any more tickets, and I think it's kind of everybody's thought of, are we gonna use them, are we not? As far as I know, we still have 280 here in the office. I don't believe we've sold any in the last 2 weeks, but we're still paying contracts out, so we are going negative in the Sasco fund because of this.
I was told that JC was maybe out of stickers.
I don't know.
So,
To my
I mean,
knowledge, they haven't called the office.
can we follow up with them?
Sure can.
Because for no more than what these stickers are, I mean, I suggest we buy some more stickers and go figure it out. It's not a backbreaking expense.
Well, for me, it's, I mean, the reason in this is I've told Jennifer that I kind of wanted to hold off. And the reason being is if we're going to go with, I'd like to know what you guys' thoughts are. Because, I mean, if we're not going to go with George, by all means, let's get more stickers. But if we are going to go with another program or another setup, and I mean, even if we decide, okay, we as a county are going to keep this program, guys, it can't stay the way it is. It has to change.
I agree with that.
And the amount would have to be adjusted. So, and I don't want to charge, okay, and let's get down to it. I don't want to charge somebody $1.50 to get rid of 5 pounds of trash or 6 pounds. It takes 30 pounds of trash to come up to $1.50.
Well, the things I want to see, I'm sorry.
So for me, we've got to come up with a cost. And then the more stickers we buy and the more stickers we sell is the longer transition phase it takes to actually get the transfer station where it needs to be with the scale. That's all I got to say.
For me, you need to look into the legality and the contracting aspect of it. With us holding the permits for these satellite sites from IDEM or through IDEM and whatnot, and the fines, What can be put in contract and legally put the liability on the contractor to get that away from us. Like to make sure they maintain and hold the responsibility so that way we don't get hounded for it.
What I don't know about the situation is if these individual sites are permitted through IDEM, right? I don't believe IDEM will, and let's don't. I
Third party.
I don't want to get into a discussion of what occurred in our meeting.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to figure out.
You know, what is very clear is that IDEM does not care who we contract with.
Yeah.
They don't care how our contract is worded in terms of liability or indemnification. And maybe it would be true that we could like push for an indemnity clause that contractor, like if we're liable, right, to IDEM,
Yeah.
that contractor is liable to us for the benefit, you know, what we're liable to IDEM for. That's theoretically possible. But from IDEM's perspective is going to be, it's the county.
Yeah.
We don't care. And we're not, your contractor is subject to your permit, is subject to our rules. So, what I would say is, I think, yes, I agree with, you know, the statements about wanting to figure out what we need to do. I agree with the statements about, you know, reaching out to them, and that kind of bleeds into some of the other things that are on the agenda tonight. So, you know, I know that those are more specific to the transfer station itself. But I think we have some contact people now.
Yeah.
You know, and we can always reach out to them and say, look, this is something that we are considering. What would even be a feasible way to do this? Would it be, you know, Levin's disposal or some other service goes out and acquires their own like permit for those sites to use those sites? Do we, you know, because that would mean we're totally out.
And that's some of the options I want to
But
explore.
that takes it to a place where the county no longer has a role at all in those satellite site locations. And that might not be something that this board is comfortable with. You might want a little more control. If you wanted a little more control, then I think that, you know, I think one thing that's also clear from that discussion is, you know, you need to reach out to the IDEM permitting people, that side of it, and say, hey, this is what we're considering. How do we submit altered permit requests that would allow us to do X,
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't have a big comfort level with just abandoning our permits, because they're hard to get back. But, and, you know, it's just like with the state, I mean, you know, it's like Kevin, you know, he's contracting with NDOT to do work and to get money. I mean, it's not with the contractor's not in negotiating anything, it's the county and the state, when it comes to the highway department and stuff. So I don't know how this would work any differently.
Well, I mean, we could allow him to use the permits, I believe, at our spots.
Probably, yeah, you could probably operate.
And then he is permitted, they're permitted, they've got their own permit also. So like Zach says, it would be almost if there was a issue with the sites, IDM would, I mean, that's.
but what I don't know about our permit right now
With
is whether or not it permits what we're talking about.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
The what?
Well, one of the things that I didn't discuss is, you know, when you want to do X, Y, or Z
Mhm.
on a permitted site, and that may be totally fine, but you must submit
Yes.
a updated permit change request get it approved, and then begin that process.
Right. But we have to agree on whether or not we're gonna do that before we submit it to request.
I think that you could agree to a particular management system, right? And agree to submit your updated permit request at that point, consistent with what you think is in the best interest of taking care of those sites, maintaining them, and complying with IDEM's requirements. And then after that, begin the process of locating the appropriate third party to provide said service.
Yeah. I am not against what you're talking about whatsoever. I just want to make sure we do it the right way.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying that we.
No, I just want to.
I think we need to start deciding though on a direction.
Yeah.
So we know I'm not trying to say how that direction has to work. But I think we need to decide, first I think we need to decide, hey, because I'm saying my opinion is if we keep these satellites the way they are set up right now, I don't know why we put the scales in. Because right now, the way it's set up is this program has basically been set up to give one person a job. And the county makes $5,000 and all the trash that is taken in from this, we're paying to get rid of. It just does not make sense. And if that's what we was going to do, then I don't know why we put a scale out there to begin with.
Well, I
Because
apologize, I don't have my notes tonight, but
essentially we're charging anybody who goes to the transfer station right now, the way it's been set up and the way it has in the past, we're charging them more money to dump than the people who are going to the satellites to dump.
Sasco is really the only profitable thing that we have. I mean, we've looked over.
And it's not now, but all it's paid for has been the collection and transportation. It has not paid one penny for disposal of the trash.
Right. But any positive revenue that we've had in this whole trash business has been that. I mean, we've looked at that from year in, year out. I mean, it may not be today, and I don't know why that is. I think partly because there's no stickers out there to buy. Right?
Stickers, yeah.
So that's what I'm
No,
saying. I mean, we have to get, in my opinion, until something gets worked out, we have to be able to make something on this. If there's no stickers out there to buy, we're not making any money at all.
But the SASCO program hasn't.
It has. I've ran the numbers. I talked to them in the last meeting. I showed this and talked about it in the last meeting. We've showed it. Now, are we losing money with maybe what's going out at the end of the day? Yes, probably, right? But overall, the program makes money. We've looked at the numbers. I've ran them all off and ran them. I apologize I don't have them tonight. But the SASCO program has always been a positive.
We're taking
up to probably, I think the number was $7,000 to $8,000 a year.
But again,
The transfer station overall has always been a tremendous burden.
That
overall.
has been a loss. But
Yes, I
the
mean,
SASCO problem has contributed to some of that too.
again, when you look at the numbers, I've seen them. I ran them, Jennifer. We've looked at.
Right.
There's a positive number when it comes to
But that's
SASCO
only
stickers.
the collection cost.
Right.
So
That's the only thing that we've ever had positive go into trying to calculate what's the real number that we're losing out.
it has paid for its collection. It does not pay. We're paying for its disposal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the transfer station
Right.
is paying for its disposal.
Whatever that number
it's
is.
hard to say that the transfer station has been our problem.
But from a service standpoint to the taxpayers and the service that we're offering,
Well, that's just it. That's just it.
I think that's another argument there that
Do
we're
we
saying.
want to keep paying for a trash service? And can we afford to keep paying for a trash service? Because I'm telling you, just me, and I'm not saying this to argue, But if you're gonna tell me that everybody who uses the transfer station has to pay for trash that tries to help take care of the money that is collected through the satellites, I'm gonna say that then everybody, no matter what size their load, within reason, is gonna be $1.50. Because that is. Because I have trouble charging somebody who goes to the transfer station $150 for a truckload of trash when they could have put that in the trash bags and only spent 30. And that's the way it's set up. And that is unfair to people, especially to the people who are using the transfer station because they want to recycle.
You know, the other factors of this too, and, you know, by closing these satellite, if that's what it comes to, I'm not in favor of closing those, but if we can figure out a way to keep those open and make it work, that's where I'm at with it. But as far as the sticker thing goes, I mean, I get it. At the end of the day, we may not come out, but it's the only positive number that we've ever had that goes in out there. I mean, the transfer station overall has been a big loss. And let's face it. I mean, these scales that we're putting in, it's a lot of money. Okay, we spent a lot of money out there, and it's risk. And we'll see if it works out, right? At the end of the day. I'm not saying I felt like we had to do something to try to, you know, capture the real costs out there. But the trash thing is an expensive.
I think it's a great step forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's an expensive. It's always been an expensive venture out there.
I've never seen the risk
Well,
because
we lose.
I think it's a great thing to capture what's going in.
If we stop the loss.
We're saying
If we stop the
we
loss.
voted for it. We'll see.
But when you
Right,
stop
right.
the loss,
But it's
so we pay out.
it's a tool.
We're gonna have $125,000 into the scale. Every year we spend $180,000 of loss in the whole program.
Well, no, those numbers aren't. I mean,
It'll take
No
a
one-
few years to pay it back, but I think the low, and I hate to say, I'm like you, I don't have that with me.
Well, if we just wipe off the loss,
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
paid
I'm
itself
thinking,
back.
I think the on the transfer station, the highest year was maybe 150,000 that we lost. So I mean, 1 year of that would take care. And some have been as low as 50,000 that was lost. So
But still, the scale will stop.
true. That gives
Losing
us
it
the
every
tool-
year.
That gives us
We've
the
been
tool
paying
to
it
stop
every
that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what I would say is, you know, I mean, it's something that we just need to continue to look at.
Well, then that's all I'm
come up
asking.
with a plan.
That's all I'm asking. Let's make a decision on which direction we're gonna go so we can start it.
Yeah, I apologize. I left my folder in the other car and I don't have those numbers, but again, anybody watching, go back a couple of meetings. I threw those numbers out and I'll have it again.
All right, so that was, where we at?
We were at
Probably
what,
not.
planning administrator, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see, we talked to George. Transfer station collection site funds residue, that's done.
Well, I want to bring that up. I know, that, you know, we did have the executive session. Everybody has a copy of the, qualified offer of settlement, related to that administrative filing. everybody was informed of kind of the purported violations. We were able to have I think, a good, positive discussion with IDEM on a number of levels. But one of the big pieces for me that became apparent was that we have a deadline to accept or reject that qualified settlement offer, with the caveat that if we move past that, it's not that we can't accept, right, but we don't get that automatic, I think they said 20% deduction.
I thought it was pretty significant.
It was. So here's my 2 cents. This is somebody looking at it from the perspective of, and I'm going to say this with a follow-up, but I think that it is with that reduction, that automatic reduction, somewhere around a 2,000, maybe less.
Yeah.
$20 fine for things that we have already kind of put in place to take care of. I did get a response that using 911 as the designated person for the signs is fine.
Cool.
So I'd say go ahead, get those out, purchased, done, posted. I am taking over kind of trying to draft up some additions and amendments to the document that I think Greg submitted previously that has been requested by IDEM, so that we can get our plan in place within the time frame structured for the qualified.
Were they able to find what Greg
I
submitted?
don't think that we ever made this. They were not able to locate a separate submission after the original that Greg did.
Okay.
And they had that follow-up email.
Gotcha.
Outlining, these are the things that need to be in it, these are the changes that need to be made, there's nothing after that. So I'm gonna put that together and send that to them so that we will get in compliance on our plan at the site. I mean, at that point, I think we've already addressed the open container type situation.
Common plastics, I think.
Yeah.
Build something. Yeah.
And then we weren't doing out of business.
Yeah.
Our
The overnight.
dumping, right? So we effectively, what we're saying is we're basically already in compliance with what the order requires. And my thing is, yes, we're there. From my perspective, it's beneficial at this point to go ahead and lock in that reduced fine amount. Now, I say all that, obviously everybody was there, heard the discussion about, additional and trying to resolve this all at once. So what I would suggest is that if it is something that you all want to do, that we go ahead and execute the qualified settlement offer today to lock in the reduction in fines. And if at all possible, just authorize me to try to secure maybe even an amended agreement, which everyone will get to see before we, do anything on those other issues. Just that encompasses everything, so we have one case that resolves all pending matters.
As we work toward trying to fix everything.
As we work towards trying to come into compliance. So that's my 2 cents. I know that Jennifer has a copy of that item, qualified settlement offer. I don't know what your all's thoughts are on the situation, but my thought is, that it's not a bad offer right now.
No, I would agree.
I agree.
I like your idea.
And Zach, I sent the operations plan to them
Oh, I know you did.
in May of 2023. I just forwarded it to you.
I know you did.
I knew it was off because they kept throwing names out there. It's like they haven't worked there in a long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back through it, make sure that we're consistent with, what they provided me a copy of their, like, email demands, I guess, when we were in that meeting. I'm gonna go through it, make sure we're consistent across the board. I will send it to the attorney, representing IDEM, and we'll make sure that we, get that plan into their, whatever, system for approvals. So,
I'm still really curious on why all these years this was a issue, wasn't addressed, they was fine with it, and after we fixed it, we started getting fined. That
Yeah,
doesn't make
that's
sense.
that's a good point. I mean,
You know?
there's something
Yeah.
that doesn't smell right with this whole thing. But
But that was gonna be one of my questions, and why I put email follow-up, was curiosity of, this email went to Mr. Jones, right? Like, how long before, like, was there a significant amount of time that he didn't see it before we got a copy of it?
yeah,
Or-
they sent it like a couple months. I mean, just like a month or two ago. They sent it.
yeah, and I think the email that you're talking about is an email that went to an email account that was, not being used anymore. I'm not totally positive.
Oh, I thought Mr. Jones had, like, he used his deputy coroner, or his commissioner email with his deputy coroner. Is that? did he-
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, no, I was wanting to make sure, like, if there was a automatic reply on, Deputy Coroner Jones, or
But
former
again,
Commissioner Jones saying,
no,
hey,
it's not.
reply to Commissioner Julian as the president, or what?
not
I
sure,
don't know.
but
What I do know is just, it was like,
I just wanna make
they
sure
seen
don't
we was
interrupt.
fixing it,
Yeah.
and then, oh my goodness, we've gotta hurry up and find them because they're fixing it now.
But I just want
I
to know
mean-
no lag or like email, like.
Get it in quick before they get it done, boys.
I never thought about it that way, but, yeah. No, I get that part of it. Still, in my review, I do think trying to lock in that one.
Oh,
Yeah, I think they made it clear that when you looked at the way they calculated it, they were at the lowest possible, like, from their perspective amount. Like, I could go back, let's say, and argue, well, this type of violation that you've identified really should be, like a minimal violation under this set. So that I think there is a possibility to do those things, but I think in the long run, to me, that won't outweigh the benefit of locking in the price reduction. Like, I could spend time, negotiating them for like, come down here this much, but it might not ever be more than what we're gonna get by entering the agreement before July 16th.
and since the last couple of years, they've always, even though we've ran into fines and stuff, they've always been pretty generous at working with us.
and I think that's a significant.
I don't know. I hang with people that I, charge them because, I make them cool by association. And normally I charge $45 an hour, but I try to make them all feel good by only charging 25.
Well, I think we had,
I mean, that's what I think.
I
I
think,
think they just want to make us feel good about charging. But,
we had a pretty good
it is what it is.
idea on how this is all surfaced and maybe, but anyway, that's another story. But this
Yeah.
is,
I mean, does anybody?
could be a colluded effort.
I'll accept the motion.
Well, before we do that, does anybody have like reservations, concerns?
There's a lot, but.
I mean, I say we accept what's been granted and move forward.
Is that a motion? Or-
Yeah,
I'll second that.
And I'll make that unanimous to have Zach talk on our behalf.
And then, if I do get kind of a restructured qualified settlement, right? Because they had in some things, I'll certainly bring that back before we execute anything. But I will communicate with them, essentially that I have authority to say, we want to accept and move forward. I've already sent them a request, kind of trying to follow up on what's the deal with these other pending issues that we haven't received any notice of yet.
Mhm.
So we'll see how that
No,
goes.
it's in the works.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so does that take care of ID and follow-up email?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're done with that. Floodplain administrator. So, I know
I think I sent you copies of his certificate that he received, right, Ben Petty?
so Ben Petty has took the classes and has successfully completed the floodplain administrator certificate.
Thank you, Ben, for taking that on.
Yeah, thank you for taking it on. Do we need to make that official that he is going to be our floodplain administrator? That's that guy, I don't know.
I think, let's go ahead and do this.
I'll make a motion to
Have this momentous.
job description of floodplain administrator added to Ben Petty's, overall duties.
Got a motion on the
I'll
table.
second.
We got a second, and I'll make that unanimous.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Sam's Club.
Okay, there was a lady that came in a little over a month ago, I think her first name's Donna, I can't remember, quite frankly, and she had wanted to offer our employees kind of discounts. I scanned and sent some of the discounts that they could give. Zach and I had talked about it because we was afraid maybe it fell under our gifts program, that it could be a problem. We ran it through Wagner, Irwin, and Shealing. They said, no, it's not a problem there. It could be a problem with the solicitation, but that it would be allowable for them to meet with our employees, like on their lunch hour or something like that, not during their work time, if they choose to. And it's not like anything that's stressed or anything like that.
Because it's offered to everyone.
I'm okay with it.
Basically, what they're saying is, what you could do to not violate, first, they did not agree with me that it theoretically violated, but they said it could violate solicitation rules, but what they said is, what would not violate it, right, is if you made a space available for them to set up and for employees to, at their own choosing, go to the station that was set up during a lunch break or whatever, to inquire themselves about what the offering was, and that we have no role in anything aside from just saying you can use this space in the public building.
And do you want that lady to come in? Do you want me to invite her to a meeting to let her explain?
I don't think so. I mean, factories, for instance, do it all the time. You know, run a break room and maybe somebody set up there for Aflac or YMCA, whatever.
I have no problem with it.
There's a flock, I know.
So if we set up times, then it'd probably be okay to use the county email to communicate that they would be here at those times, correct?
To our employees.
Yes.
To
to our
just say
employees.
that somebody will be, I think that's fine.
We'll do that.
Because it's only offered to county employees.
Correct.
That's
Yeah,
the way I understand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do we need to make a motion for that or just allow?
I would probably go ahead and make a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to allow Sam's Club to come in and offer services to, or memberships to employees.
Second.
I'll make that unanimous. County insurance RFP.
Okay, we have discussed this before. I do not know how to do an RFP or whatever we need to do. I have had a public records request for all of our book of insurance. We don't have all of those. I have asked for a 5-year run loss, and I have not received that either. And I've requested now it's been a little over 3 weeks, week at a time, and I'm not even getting replies right now to why we're not getting the 5-year loan loss.
From our current,
So I'm not sure what we need to do, where we need to go with that.
I know what we need to do.
Uh,
I'll make a motion to ask Zach to reach out and talk to Mr. Buchanan and get that information so we can move on.
I'll second that.
I'll make it unanimous. And then, yeah, because,
I'm sorry, did you make the motion to do that?
Randy did.
Randy,
Randy,
okay.
I second it, and Greg.
so, yeah, because, right now, you know, we're setting, you know, early July, it's a good time to, start soliciting that.
And we could have done this in April.
We,
I mean,
yeah, we could.
yeah,
Yeah,
as early as April.
But
I actually had 3 of them reach out.
So this has been being pushed.
we need to, get that out there, so we need to work to get a request for proposals out for that. So we can take a look at that.
So next, item on the agenda is consideration of regular special invoices.
Okay. I think you guys, there really aren't special invoices. You got your regular ones. Mandy emailed those last Friday, but I think it was Monday before she, did the sheriff's ones, because we were still struggling to get his budget numbers to him before they could send their invoices over here. So it started in my office, but it's kind of been all around the board. So we've got this smaller one will be the one, I think it was sent out Monday, possibly, and it'll need signature if you choose to, approve those, and then this is the regular ones.
And I did check with the, council, regarding the sheriff's claims, and they said it's good. Checked with all the money in there, make sure it's good.
They said sufficient.
Sufficient, yeah, something along those lines, yeah.
I make a motion to take care of the claims.
Got a motion? Second. And second, I'll make that unanimous.
Make a motion to approve the payroll.
I've got a motion on the floor to approve payroll, June 27, 2025. Got a second from Adam. I'll make that unanimous.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes for June 18th, 2025. I'll make that unanimous. In this, the agenda, council, do you have any comments?
I do not have any comments other than the only thing I was going to mention that we talked about the financial results.
Do you have anything?
No, I'm going over all my notes here, no, I don't have anything.
Okay. Greg, do you have any?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a statement and ready to do this, but, I'm leaving state government, and, shortly, and, going to the private sector, and, reason I'm letting people know, so as folks know over the years, I mean, they call me for help with a lot of things, right? And that's fine. That's great. I'm glad I've always been in a position to help. Whether it's a ditch, a driveway, a pothole, whatever is out there. So just moving forward, I mean, if people are watching this, I mean, I will continue to help and call folks to try to pass the word on to try to get them some assistance. But just know that I'm a secondary type phone call in this process and of trying to get things done from that standpoint. But just want everybody to understand that I won't be in that same capacity as I've been over the years to meet those needs very quickly and such. So, but always happy to reach out and try to get help where they need it. So that's all I got.
Well,
Congratulations.
yep, congratulations on your new adventure.
Yeah, almost 27 years.
And congratulations on walking away from that.
Yeah.
And whatever since you're gonna be private consultant, I mean, whatever you want to charge, according to IGN, you just,
No affiliation.
you
with
charge whatever you want to, you just pick a higher number to tell them it's a reduced rate.
No idea. Just
And,
transportation.
A thank you note from Rita Keith. Her brother passed away. It's just a thank you note for the flowers that we sent.
all right,
Thank you, Rita. Yeah.
I will, accept the motion to, adjourn the, meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll say that.
I'll make that unanimous.
Hang on.
YouTube live?
We should be.
Give me a second, yeah. Okay.